Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me for a walk today. I've started this project as a way to combine some of the things that I enjoy doing. Like over here I'm knitting, and over here I'm crocheting. And I'd just like to talk about some things and show you some trails that I've been on and what I do with my time creatively. One of the things that I've been doing since about 13 was knitting. My mom's friend taught me, and it was a gift in my life. I'm undiagnosed, but pretty sure I have ADHD, just based on a few things. Like one of the things being that knitting will keep my hands busy so that I'm able to focus on maybe somebody talking or a movie that's playing, things like that. But the absolute first project she showed me was dishcloths, and I'm still making them today. I'm making one in this video as well. But here's one that I have done, and it's quite a bit bigger than the ones I used to make with her. Hers were probably about, maybe that size. But my brother suggested that I make them bigger so that they fit his hand. So I make them this size, I make them smaller. I make them now with a scrubby in the corner because that was another idea from my brother. We figured out that if I take strips of the fabric tulle, Tulle, that and then hold it with the yarn as I knit from here, and then drop the yarn when I'm back over here to knit this and back, then it weaves it in. It's so strong. It scrubs dishes really well without scratching. It's a great addition. Again, like I said, my brother's idea. Pretty brilliant if you ask me. But also about 18 years ago, I was working at Kmart, and I lived close enough where I could walk. And after the first shift or two, I was pretty bored with this walk, thinking, surely there's something I could do with my time, and thought, well, maybe I could knit dishcloths on my walk. So I took the ball of yarn with me and put it in my pocket, and it just, wasn't really that smooth of a process. It was kind of hard to get the yarn out of my pocket all the time. So I got home and devised a plan to make a bag, which is this one actually. This is the first bag I ever made. I don't know how well you can see it. The lighting's not great. I'm not too worried about that. But I've made it into a cylinder shape and a flap on top with Velcro and another piece. Oh, that's a little worn out from years of use, apparently. And then the yarn goes through here, and it kind of smoothly just comes through the top. Well, I've made a new one for myself, and this one I did buy the fabric white, and I tie-dyed it myself, which I enjoy a lot. I love tie-dye. It's one of my favorite things to, cover up stains or, be creative and chaotic with, I guess. But I've made them big enough to fit a cone of yarn, and these are 100% cotton, which is how I make the dishcloths, because if you make them with any other yarn, they're not going to hold the absorb the water. And then at the bottom, I've put in, this one's kind of broken, but I have put in an oatmeal lid in the bottom with the lip side down so that it covers up my itty bitty pair of scissors. I don't know if you can see that. My itty bitty pair of scissors that all it does is cut the yarn for these dishcloths. But the lid is kind of down there for stability, hold it upright so that the yarn doesn't get pinched between the fabric and the cone. And then I can walk and knit. or walk and crochet, just depending on the project. Clearly, I'm not walking around with an Afghan trying to crochet and walk at the same time, which is why dishcloths are basically the best project for knitting and walking. And it takes more than an hour to knit one this size, and so I can definitely always get one in on a video. So that's been pretty good too. Let's see, what else was I going to talk about? Well, let's go back to the video for a while and maybe I'll come up with something else. All right, so I'm back. So I remember I was going to talk about crocheting. So I was originally taught to crochet by my grandma, which is my mother's mother. And I just really couldn't get past the chain, which is not really much crocheting, but she tried, but I just really couldn't pick it up. And then I ended up learning from my ex-husband's mother's father's mother. So his great grandmother taught me how to crochet the tops of dish towels on. So that was basically where I really figured it out, um, and actually know that it took me a while to figure it out because crochet is kind of tough, and this is funny. I'm just remembering this, that I originally would crochet into the back loop only. So that's actually a specific stitch to crochet into the back, but I didn't understand that a stitch was the two loops that look like an arrow at the top of the work. I did not understand that. So some of the patterns that I followed, those early ones, like I made my daughter two Care Bears actually that were misshapen, and I could not understand why. I felt like I followed the instructions properly, but the thing was is that I didn't know that it was the two loops on top, not just the back loops. So that was a learning experience, but I've gotten better over time. Clearly, you practice, you get better. But just by trying projects that I thought may be too hard, and then taking information from other people's projects and then creating my own, which is kind of what I've done for a lot of years, like sewing patterns when I was a kid. My mom and my grandma would sew a lot. Actually, my mom made me a lot of my clothes when I was really little. And it was actually back when you could make clothes that were kind of cheaper than buying them, when now it's way more expensive to make your own stuff because they've just, all the prices and all that stuff is so expensive. But anyway, so when I was sewing with my mom, I'd be like, oh, I want a piece of this pattern and a piece of that pattern. And she really had a hard time following my vision, but she did it for me. My prom dress one year, she made out of pieces of other patterns, and it was great. It was so awesome. It was exactly what I wanted. Turned out exactly how I thought. So that was pretty cool. But back to the crocheting, that's kind of what I do now, is I just take pieces of people's projects and I create my own. But one of the things that I'm really proud of is that I've kind of mastered a way to crochet these Afghans with a picture in it. And I'm currently working on one that will have 4 different colors of yarn, and at the same time, actually. And so that is my hardest one to date. But the first one I made was a Mustang blanket. So it's the Mustang symbol and it says Mustang underneath of it. And I like super impressed myself on that one. And I've gotten a lot of good feedback on it. So I feel pretty good about it. But those are things that are on my Instagram. So I already have like a few projects that I've completed, but I intend to add to that, but then also use this as a platform as well. So it'll be interesting how this goes. I almost forgot what I wanted my ending to be. Okay, you ready? Here it is. Enjoy your life. It is yours.